Hey there, whiskey fans. Welcome back to Whiskey Minute with the Highlander. In this part of our Whiskey Del Bac Distillery tour, Mark and I are here where the beginning begins once the grain comes in from where we saw last time. So Mark, can you fill us in on this?
Yeah, definitely. So what you're looking at behind us is our incredibly unique, one-of-a-kind malting system. So the big tank you see here, this is our steep tank. So as you're familiar with the production of malt, what we're trying to do is we have to get sugar out of complex carbohydrates.
Right.
You know, yeast loves simple sugars. That's what gives us ethanol. It can't consume those complex carbohydrates. Thankfully, people way more intelligent than me a long time ago figured out through malting, you can create that sugar.
Sure.
And for those who might not be super familiar, any grain can be malted.
Absolutely.
We just tend to use malted barley because it's almost perfectly built to be a conversion mechanism. It has a beautiful, hard outside shell. It has all the enzyme production that we need to get all that sugar produced. Plus, it tastes really, really nice. And so what we're doing in this first step is we have to get that water back up to moisture. So when we get our two-row seed, it's around 4 or 5% moisture. To get that back up, we want to get around to like 45, 46%. Because what we're doing in malting is we're really just tricking the grain into thinking that it's been planted.
It's springtime.
It's springtime. We've got enough moisture, we've got enough heat, and that tells it, oh, I need to kick this off so I have the energy to break through so I can start photosynthesis. So that first step is the steeping. And so we will do 5,000 pounds of grain in here with around 2,000 gallons of cold filtered water. We're going to bubble air up through that for about 12, 13 hours. We're really trying to work to get that moisture back into that grain.
Right.
After that 12, 13 hours, we fully drain that. We do what's called an air rest. Again, people way more intelligent than us figured out a long time ago. These are just really efficient steps you can do to get that moisture back in.
Right.
So that starts on Monday. On Tuesday, we'll come back in, we'll fill it up with about another 2,000 gallons of water, and we'll start that bubbling through all over again.
Okay.
This is a, oh yeah.
So that whole bit, unlike the process in Scotland when it's all spread about, we're putting it all in a big tank.
Yes, so we're putting it all in a big tank to start steeping it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to transfer that slurry that we've created. We have this big pneumatic pump on the back of that, and we're actually going to shoot it over into this tank over here. And if we can walk back here, this is what we call our germination and our kilning tank, or our GK tank.
Oh, yeah.
So this is basically a big modified mash tun.
Yeah.
From you can see. So that wet grain comes across. You'll see we have that false bottom.
Yeah.
And then that all drains out. And so what we're left then is this moist grain that we need to start applying heat to. You can kind of see this very Rube Goldberg-esque system here. This is our heat system. It's also our smoke delivery system. If you can kind of look back in there, you'll see that we have some screw augers back there.
Yeah.
So instead of us putting 5,000 pounds of grain out on the floor, we can go about 4 or 5 feet deep in there. And that's going to be our turning mechanism. So that we can stop that velveting from happening, we're going to turn that regularly.
Oh, bloody grand. Can you zoom in and catch a bit of that? Let's really maximize the efficiency of doing it in a smaller space. It's very, very intriguing. And then what point do you take them out of here?
So we'll start that germination process that begins around Wednesday. And then Thursday is when we do the smoke. So we're slowly drying that grain as it germinates. You know, if we let it grow, it's just going to become, a barley plant. And we don't want that. We want all those lovely enzymes and all those sugars that we've got locked in there.
Sure, so we got to stop it when it's at the right point.
Exactly. So
that smoke helps do that.
Exactly. We'll build a big smoke outside. It kind of looks like a big barbecue or a big smoke box if you're ever cooked barbecue. I'm going to get in around 5:30 in the morning because we want that first smoke to start at 6. We're then going to tend that fire, and we want a pretty much consistent smoke on that for 9 hours. So we're going to sit there.
Smoke's coming in which pipe?
So it is actually going to come in from this large one that you see that comes up here. It goes in the back and then pushes up through that false bottom.
Okay.
And then circulates out through the top.
But we got her coming in the first pipe there through the back door and going out and out the pub and then outside.
Exactly.
So at that point, all the neighbors think, oh, he's got the Barbie lit up.
Our next door neighbors, their space always really smells like delicious barbecue after we're finished. So
Lovely.
yeah, so that is a 9-hour. It's really nice in the winter when it's kind of chilly and cool here. It is absolutely miserable in the summer when it's 110 degrees out there and you are tending a 900-degree smoke box.
I can imagine.
But it's what gives us our mesquited, not peated flavor. It gives us that thing that makes us so distinct. And it still lets us have control over it. Again, we are one of the only distilleries in the country that malts their own barley.
Right.
So
That's amazing. All right. Well, folks, thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow. And until next time, Highlander and Mark signing off with a slunge of a.